Hello. Welcome everybody. Orkin, how you doing? Super great to have you, dude. Let's see if Instagram wants to work this time. Go. Maybe, maybe not. We shall see. Ishan, what's going on? Tomoki, great to have you. Looking forward to our session tomorrow. Okay. I have an idea based on this piece of reference that I saw earlier. I want to work with negative space. Right, we're jumping right into it. I've got an idea. I'm rolling with it. So, I want to play. Let's get this out of the way. These are shit anyway. Move these out of the way. Boom. That one. No, thank you. Yeah, it's been a little while, Ishan. Alright, let's see. Is this all updating? Everyone can see the screen, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Now, move this out the way. Move him up here so we got a little bit of space to have a play. Tim, what's going on? Alright. The Art of Mr. Moon, how you doing? Let's start with a sketch. Maybe we just plan this out a little bit. Let's not get too deep into it. Now, what I liked about this, right, is I want to see if we can play around with the subtleties of the color, as well as sort of make all the dark parts just drift off into the background. There's like lost edges. Let's see how we go with that. I reckon that'll be a bit of fun. Maybe let's just do a quick sketch to begin with. Let's go boom, 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 boom. Something here we can move. So we've got the hand that's going to be floating. Right, which will be cool. Kentas, how you doing? Doing well, doing well. How you doing? And then we got this hand down here, which is kind of nice. I've been looking for an opportunity to play around with some of this empty space, or negative space, or whatever you want to call it. Right, so then all of this will be dark, or not even dark, just whatever we want to compress it into. Right, and then this is what's gonna, we can play around with the color. Potentially. We'll see how we go. But let us begin, Lulu. How you doing? Diana, you bloody legend. Thank you. I want to figure out the text-to-speech thing. So if anyone donates, they can like ask questions or see that on other people's streams. Cabello Vorticerosa? Hello? Okay. Glad to hear it, Lulu. Now, what do we do? What do we want to do? I think we just start placing some of the elements. Also with hands, I'm finding sometimes putting the fingernails down first can be quite helpful because they tell us a lot about the finger direction, you know? So I've got the fingernails here. They're telling us already that this is the orientation, at the very least, of the finger. Adrian got the ink. How you doing? What's up, man? Do you use a screenless display or a tablet or a display tablet for Ticarosa? Appreciate you. I use both. Like last night, I was working on a Cintiq, and today I'm working just on a screen tablet. Shaka Bwachance, good, Sest, Raymond Dubon Bolot. No idea what that means. My apologies. Christian, don't pretend like we wasn't just talking for like an hour or two beforehand. Great to have you join the stream, Christian. A screenless display. Oh, I guess there's a screen on this one, but I don't use it. I'm just looking at... Yeah, I know, that's an oxymoron, isn't it? Super. Got to contribute to the algo. Appreciate you, my friend. Alright, so then we got the little pointy thing. This could very easily be Harry Potter. And Instagram has shit itself. As usual. Now, I've got to figure out something with this. I'm going to change from OBS to something else, I reckon. Let's see if it comes back. What events are you attending coming up this summer? Lightbox. I'm going to be there. In what capacity? Still kind of up in the air at the moment, but I shall be there. Okay, Instagram people, for me, just real quick, I see a blank screen. Do you guys see anything? Can you even hear me? It'd be great to just get an idea, because I don't know if it's just a glitch on the preview here, or if it is actually just terrible. You see in here? You can see it. Fantastic. All right. Well, Instagram, get your shit together, because I would have just stopped the stream otherwise. All right, we'll just keep going then, I guess. All right, so what are we doing here? So I'm just getting my shapes in place. I want to try and push them a little bit more. I wouldn't mind like... So here, maybe like scooting it down a little bit. Maybe bringing it back up a little bit here. So then you're drawing the eye back to the hand, you know? Then let's use the filthy plugin. Shout out. Shameless plug. Rabbit, appreciate you, Prajan. Thank you very much. Because here, I take this is what I'm seeing. That, well, not with the sketch on it. That's what I see, which is very frustrating. That's all right. As long as it's working for you guys, that's all that matters. All right, so let's start whacking in some value structure here. Opera, get out of here. Not today, mate. Okay. Opera. So what I want to do is I'm just going to start blocking out. The fill isn't available. Here we go. All right. So I'm not going full value to start with. I'm just going to play with the shapes until I find something that's half acceptable. I like the interplay between the warm and the cool in this as well, because that white shirt is picking up a whole bunch of blue light from wherever it's coming from. Now we've got to be careful here. If I want to put the little, I might even do a little bit of pocket square action. So it's just something there. So this is all going to be off into the distance. Rembit, I see ya. Okay, something like that, and then we can close this gap off potentially, so it's a little bit more interesting. Yeah, something like that could be fun to play around with. This is our canvas, our shapes to work within. Now, the question is, I don't know the question yet. Where do we go from here? That's the question. Do we want to go painterly? I wouldn't mind just going for it. Just start painting, not getting too caught up in it. I reckon I might do that. So let's see. Maybe we start off with like pretty compressed values, and we can always go and change it after. Compressed values meaning that the difference between the values is not going to be a whole lot. Tomoki, not much. Not much has been missed. Cool, that's the hand. There's this hand. Cool. We got the pure white here. I don't like the pure white. I want to get rid of that. So we might even darken everything down as a whole. Darken this down so that we can then have a bit of room with the white. I'm going to turn this to multiply. And let's whack. Because this is where we can have some fun with the values. There is quite a bit of a value jump with the clothing, or the shirt, let's say. I mean, it's clothing, but you know what I mean. Alright, so it's super subtle, so now we can push it either way, right? We can go super far. What do we want to expose for? I think we're exposing for the light. Because everything is going into the background, so that makes sense. So let's start playing. I'm just going to do values just to start with, just whacking in the black and white to begin with, and then we can lay over some color. Not even being too worried about the face at the moment. Kind of just want to get the vibe to start with. You could also change the lighting and intensity, just for fun. Here, merge these guys into one, and let's play around with we're really just going back all over the place process wise here. So is he going to be like do we want him to have like sort of an evil vibe? Not evil, but like a little bit like on the bee's knees, maybe. So we've got to play around with the eye lids if we're going to do that in a very particular way. Whoa, we've got some lag. No, we're back. Because this is facing down, so I'm imagining this is like a bucket. Right, so we're looking on top, so that brow is going to be particularly with this expression. Right, so that eye would otherwise be up here if we look at the ball of the eye. Right, but we're only seeing that little bit. And this eye has to match. Hey, oh shit, what is it? O-Y-E? Yeah? No, ye? No. Yeah, fuck. O-Y-E. It's not oi. It's we? No. Hola, ¿cómo te va? I'm doing well, man. How you doing, Alejandro? Oh, yay! Stephen, how we doing? I would love to just peripherally pick up Spanish from these streams. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Basically just, hey, listen. Oi, vey. Cosmic, how we doing? Osmosis Spanish. That's what I'm hoping for, right? So he's got this little smirk. He's just like a little like, It's like, it's almost creepy, but not quite. It's like right on that edge of like, I suppose it's just... You're amazing, but for me, you're a native Spanish speaker. I don't even know if I could get around in a Spanish-speaking country. I'd be really good at charades. How many languages do people speak in Australia? We're a very multicultural society, so all of them basically, but it's just English. For the most part. Oh, really nice. English in Queensland. Yeah, I think Adelaide has the most British English of the Australian accents. Depends on how many Tim Tams and beers they've had. True. Tim Tams and beers, I don't know if they go together though. Tim Tam flavored beer. I was so sad to see that they had Tim Tams in the US. I was like, ugh. Wait, I just realized how far Tonga is from Australia. Oh yeah, it's a while away. Can you say... But I'm going to trust you, Alejandro. I don't know what I'm saying. Let me just Popocate Petel. The TL is the tricky one. Popocate Petel. Is it like caterpillar? Sounds like caterpillar. Popocate Petel. Fuck. Popocate Petel. Popocate Petel. There you go. I'm a native. Oh, it's a volcano. They don't taste the same. You get them imported. Prashant, I think you're wasting your money because I don't think they produce them in the US. I think they import them. I think that's a placebo, my friend. They tasted pretty bloody similar to me. They did have the fancy ones though. They had like the caramel whatever ones. Tim Tam slam with a beer. Ugh. No, thank you. It's always something that we get foreigners to do, is a Tim Tam Slam. Have I done it recreationally before? I don't think so, if I'm honest. It's like a shoey. I think shoey is the stupidest thing in the world. I've never done one. If one of my mates said, hey, do a shoey, I'd be like, shut up. Why would I do that? I think it's like this thing that we just do for foreigners because for whatever reason, one guy did it and it's sort of stuck. It's not a thing. What's a shoey? Oh, Benji Art Corner feels very blendery. Oh, you reckon? I could see it being that'd be cool. A shoey. So, for whatever reason, this is a thing that when we're in a foreign land, Australians get foreigners to do it. You just grab a beer, you take your shoe off, you pour the beer in your shoe, and then you drink out of the shoe. 1, disgusting, right? 2, you just ruined your shoe, the sole of your shoe. That alcohol is gonna do something to that silicone or the sole, the rubber, you know? Just ruin the integrity of the sole. And 3, then you're gonna just be squidging around for the rest of the night with one. I think it's the stupidest thing ever. What did they do? I like that video where they get that foreigner to wear body armor to handle a koala. I haven't seen that one. They do all have chlamydia though, so I mean, that's not untrue. I think body armor might be a little bit of an overkill. They convinced him they were dangerous and needed body armor. I mean, have you ever heard them? It's better than a socky. That just wouldn't work. At that point, you're just straining it. Drop bears, true. Got to be careful where you go camping. I don't know where they got the idea. Koalas are wicked if you see them running. Very seldom does anyone see them running. But if you see them running, like, they're like little silverbacks. They like do this. That's my favorite form of koala. Is a koala in motion instead of just like high as in the trees doing nothing. Why, that's Beezer. I went to a women's rugby party where they drank beer. Is that weird? Now he's too upright at the moment. Sorry, I'm going back. I'm not. Tangent. He's too upright. We need this hand to be a little bit more like, he's a little bit too casual right now. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to merge it all. We're going to be crazy. Lock it in. I think his head could even be lower angled, but we've come too far. I'll fix that later. Cannot be bothered. The only issue is there's a lot of negative space here, which could be fine unless we mess around with the jacket being open a little bit. Le jaquette. Thun guns. What's going on, Duncan? Oh, they drink it out of a boot. Yeah. Okay, well, some people do it. I don't know. I think it's ridiculous. One of my all-time favorite videos is a koala crying because another koala kicked him out of his or her tree. How is that your favorite video? That's terrible. That tells me a lot about you, Lulu. You like it when koalas cry. Super. Oh, very good. Did you do any beer games in the US? No. No, I did not. I'm not a massive drinker. Really? Only in very specific scenarios. Jameson, hey Ben, hope you're well. I reached out to you via email and Discord regarding the interview. Hopefully we can arrange something. Oh, thanks, dude. All right, I'll keep an eye out from it because sometimes they get lost. And I'll reply to you ASAP. I live for drama. Fair enough. Own it. I like it. Don't backtrack, just own it. Good for you, Lulu. I'm going to rotate this hand right here. I'm going to grab it. I'm going to whack it around. I'm going to do that so that we have a better shape here. So also this week I've been doing a lot of working on the workshop, which has been good. Also been doing some molding and casting, which has been a fucking nightmare. Let me tell you. The skull version of Plain Jane, I don't have it with me right now. It has been nothing but an absolute pain in the ass. I should really start documenting all this stuff because it is truly becoming the bane of my existence. Air bubbles are the devil. Think that you do all the right stuff and then you throw the resin in there, you whack it in the silicone, you're feeling good, you wait the however long, 4 hours for the silicone to cure, and then you whack some resin in there and it's just a bubbly bloody mess. Actually, I've got a piece here. I don't know if you can see this little scumbag of a piece. The clavicle going into the scapula. I don't even know if you could see the context here. So you got the scapula wrapping around into the clavicle. This was like a test casting. This was the best version. You can't even see it, but it's just like this little doodad. Oh, hold on. Yeah, anyway. Pain in the ass. Did you model that, or is that from a scan? No, I modeled that. All sculpted digitally. Because to make the keys and stuff, it's really the best way to do it. I could have hand sculpted it out of clay, but then trying to get the keys to all fit and that kind of stuff. Mind you, there's so much post-processing work from a 3D print. Like, it's half of a sculpt anyway. At the end, like a traditional sculpt, because I've had to do a whole bunch of adjustments and whatnot in both the normal version and the skull version. All right, let's start throwing some bloody color on here, shall we? Hopefully you don't forget the process for next time, like I do with 3D printing. Yeah, no, it's like a it's nothing to do with the 3D printing. It's how you, okay, tangent time. It may or may not be interesting, but this is what's been doing my head in. Right, so let's say you've got like a head that you want to cast. What kind of head is that? So let's do that. You've got ears here, and you've got neck, right? And you want to make a copy of this. What you have to do is you've got to create a silicon mold, right, around it. Now this could be a cylinder, right? This isn't how I'm doing the plain Janes, by the way. This is just the actual halves of the plain Janes. But, right, so then you've got to figure out the pour spout. Where are you pouring the resin in? So then you've got to create a sprue so that there's a place for the resin to go in, right? Now with the resin, it's going to hit the lowest point and it's going to rise up evenly. But you look what happens as it rises. Look at this. This part doesn't get filled and this part doesn't get filled. It traps air. So then what you have to do is you've got to create air vents. All right. So they can either go into the model themselves. All right. So we have to have space for that air to go. And then the same thing's going to happen here with the ears. So then these guys have to vent out here. All right. So there's always going to be cleanup. That's the simplest version. If it was just this, it would be like, oh, lovely, cool. There's going to be an air bubble here. Try and do that with this little bloody thing. Or trying to do that with this thing is an absolute pain in the ass. And then we've got this, the whole spine with all the vertebrae, which are just little air traps. So anyway, I'm not complaining. I am, but I should stop. Because it is fun when it works. It's so rewarding. But it's just like the work that goes into it. I don't think it's very... I don't know. You almost just think, oh, you just make a copy of it. Mm-mm. Nathan, hello again. How you doing, Nathan? I haven't been able to join your past few live streams, but I was free tonight. Great to have you. Awesome join, by the way. Thank you very much. Oh, dang. Incredibly fiddly. Tell me about it. Make one little change and have to wait hours to see if it worked. Yep. It's a high-stakes game. Good thing I am a gambler man. All right, what did I say? Color. Do we want to keep it more neutral? I don't want to do pure black here. Let's come here. No blending. Maybe we keep it more on the neutral-ish side, but weighted towards one end. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Just watching you'll see what I'm talking about. Do you want to go that dark? Yeah, why not? We can always lighten it. It's only digital. The biggest problem with resin that I've had is when you get tiny bubbles in the mix. It's so hard to not get them. Yeah. I use a pressure pot, which does help a lot. And different types of resins, so like the fast, like the Smooth Cast 300 or something like that. That's like the old, that like goes off in 10 minutes, which is great for some things, but not amazing for other things. and then the age of the resin. If it's been sitting around for a little while, the atmospheric moisture is going to affect that, so it's going to make it a lot more foamy than it otherwise would. So there's all these little things. But yeah, the pressure pot, honestly, if you're doing castings, do yourself a favor and just get a pressure pot. It's the best thing you can do. And a vacuum for the silicon as well, because you'll need to vacuum out the silicon if you're going to use that in a pressure pot. Because what can happen with the silicon, if there's any air bubbles in the silicon and then you pressurize it, that air bubble is going to compress, and if that bubble is right on the surface of your model and it compresses, it'll look like a little dimple. So there's all these fun little nuances that you got to contend with. Also, tin cured silicon, got to get the tin cure if you're doing 3D prints, because if you do platinum silicon, it will not set and it will just be a gooey mess forever. Found that out the hard way. That'll work, cool. I like it a little bit on the messier side, you know, nothing. Okay. I would like to really quickly experiment, if it's alright with you, with the actual eye placement. That looks silly, right? But if we adjust that, right now it looks like he's looking down just a little bit more. This nose should be down here. We're going to see more of this and maybe the hair, just to really sell that. It's going to cast a shadow potentially. Maybe, I don't know. Now I'll mention here as well, I'm not going for likeness. If I was going for likeness, I would have spent a lot more time. No, that looks creepy. Let's go back. Back. Yeah, do that. Okay, color. Color. So I liked what it initially drew me to this, pun fully intended, was the blue and orange. So let's see if we can maybe use multiply. So those beautiful little complementary colors we can really play around with. Your boy Takani. Hey Ben, what happened to the Cintiq you got and what are you using now? I am using an old XP pen something 15 Pro. I mean, I used my Cintiq last night, so I'm not using it. It's just the setup for stream. I like to be looking up to then see chat and then the screen and that kind of stuff. That's the only thing. That's really the only reason that I'm using that, or using this one really. I was working on this guy. For the course. Alright, so I've got this guy recorded. And this is a cool little feature that I've been working on in Drea, is being able to remove layers on images to, gotta look what I'm doing. So like here you can go back in time to really see my thinking. So implemented this one a couple of days ago and it's coming in pretty handy. So keep an eye out for that one. Yeah, it's for grey matter. What do you prefer? It's like the tool for the job, you know. I love them both equally. Ni hao, your art style evokes so many emotions. Love you, bro. I'm from India. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thanks for popping in. Split Specs. Hey. Welcome back. 4 a.m. Bloody hell. Crazy, man. So I'm just gonna dabble in some of this color. I'm not worried too much about light. We can make the light pop at a later time, probably in about 20-30 minutes. I just want to start laying some shapes of color down. It's pretty dull at the moment, so got to keep that in mind. But it gives me room to move. I'll go live every week. Every week, same time. Same time every week. That's a nice little neutral hair color for us to then pop in some of that color. There's going to be some blues here potentially. Now I'm just whacking in all sorts of stuff. This could very easily lean more Lion Decker-esque, depending on my brushwork. We might even do that, just as a little homage. Every week. Sorry, I don't know if I said every day. Every week. Alright, now I'm going to start feathering in some more of the saturation. Observing what's happening with the light in the reference. What time is it? It is 11:38 a.m. on a Monday. Sorry, every month, still vague. Once a day, no. Once a week, every Monday, I go live, same time. But it's my Monday, Australian Central Daylight Time. (10:09 p.m). Yeah, time zones are annoying. It's every Sunday, 6:15 p.m. PST and 9:15 EST US time, and Monday for Australia. Bloody legend. Thank you, Tomoki. Yeah, of course, Nathan. That makes perfect sense. I'm also thinking next week I'm going to start getting a couple of my mates on here. Just to shoot the shit, chat, try something a bit different. I reckon that could be fun. Now, we're kind of losing a little bit here. There's got to be a lot of finessing, I think. I don't know who's going to be Tomoki yet. Noya Ray wanted to stop by and say I love you. Thank you so much. Appreciate you popping in. Alright, I think it's time just to merge it all down. Why not? What's there to lose? So warm light coming from this way, so that's going to influence the whites. Half the battle of this is just getting used to wading through this ugly stage. Not even ugly, just like less appealing. Senyafine, how you doing? Alright, let's... Yeah, let's clean up that hair a little bit. Let's remove that smoothing. Indicate. The strand directions. Alright, so we're sort of playing around with a nice bit of that shine. just as like an indication. We're not rendering yet, we're just placeholdering. Ah, beautiful. Senufine, best of luck to you. Alright, how's this looking? Let's do a little bit of upside down chicken. Is this... I don't, actually, that doesn't help me at all right now. Have you ever considered doing YouTube shorts of the work you do on live streams, like a quick view of what you made? 100%. I want to figure out a workflow for that. Because there's just so much footage out there. That is definitely something I've been thinking about more and more. I definitely watch that. Ah, good to know, Nathan. Good to know. Brandon, I appreciate you, man. Love the vibe of these videos. Drawing is looking great. Thank you. Prashan, this is looking amazing. I'm signing off. Catch you later, Prashan. Buenos noches. Thank you for my Spanish osmosis. Sketchy, how you doing? Yeah, I think the head is too tiny. I think he's got a tiny little head. And we need to bump that guy up. I think that makes a little bit more sense, potentially with the size of his hands. That seems just a little bit better. I would actually like a little bit of head tilt. Maybe. Just so he's like even more. Or maybe his neck. Like something like that. I don't know. So there's these tiny little tweaks that you can make that can actually make a reasonable difference. If you think about it. Cosmic, not sure how much application it has to characters, but have you ever tried geometry nodes in Blender? I have. There is a situation where I wanted to try that, although I didn't. I used hair, whatever you call it. Like hair strands here, and tried to use the particle system to generate hairs and whatever. But I think there would be a better way to do this with geometry nodes, for sure. But nah, definitely. There's just so many things I want to do. Where's that? No, I can't say that. I do have, there is always time. I haven't prioritized that. That's the rule. See. Hair cards. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, GeoNodes has a hair system, but I haven't tried it. Interesting. I figured out how to use particles into sculpt and finally figured out how to activate erase alpha in texture painting. Going to show you tomorrow. Beautiful. I'm looking forward to it. All right, I think we need to get a little bit more shapy with this. I'm going to whip out the old filthy. Let's start carving. Let's go. Up, up. No, hold on. Let's start carving again. Yeah, thank you. Now, how high the back of this collar is going to indicate how far down his head is as well. So that's something to take into account. It's all connected, you know. Also, tell me if the music goes weird as well. I'm listening to other stuff. Also, for any of you that have the Filthy plugin, I'd recommend, and you're on a Mac, I recommend getting this. I've mentioned it a couple of times, but in case we got any new people here, it's called Hey Stylist. You can pay for it. I paid for the full thing, but I really only use this guy, which is free. All right, and what it does a system-wide like smoothing. So you can do smooth shapes with the lasso tool. Very helpful. Very, very helpful. More of a hard thing that's gonna cut into it. Potentially, I don't know. We'll keep playing. We'll keep playing. I want to make afro hair. Same. To be honest, I prefer modeling and sculpting hair. I get that feeling as well, Super. It felt like too much of a, like you're just working against it to get the exact thing that you want. I wanted to kind of like groom so I could put the direction of the instances the way that I want. I know there's a way to do it. I just haven't gotten into it. Isn't that Dexter Morgan? I have no clue, actually. Very well could be. Very well could be. Kind of getting there. It's very, very desaturated at the moment, which is where I'm wanting it. Because if everything's saturated, then nothing's saturated. So we need to keep it a little bit pared back. At least that's what I'm going for. And then we can come in and go with as much saturation as we want. What I love about geonodes is you can make a modifier for anything virtually, which is pretty cool. Clone stamp. I didn't even press the bloody clone stamp. All right, there are some. What I sometimes like to do if things are feeling a little bit too messy, I'll just use the smudge tool just to soften everything out. Give myself something to work with, you know. Something to. I can always sharpen up these edges later. It just lets me see where everything, because I haven't really thought too much about the values as much. I sort of started with the color splotches to begin with, so we can do a bit of smudge. Bit of smudge action. Can always come back and harden up the edges when we need it. Just takes away a lot of that noise. It sort of sets the table for us to come back through. Honestly, I use geonodes most often to distribute instances randomly. Yeah, it's a good one. The other day I used it to place nails on a spike bat. That's a good one. Very cool. Took me a while to figure out how to get the orientation for instances in a case like that. Yep. Catch you later, Super. Thanks again for popping in, man. What this guy reminds me of here, it looks like the fella from Night at the Roxbury. That's who I'm seeing. You know, if you know, you know. Something about the eyes is doing my head in. We'll figure it out. This eye is too far up that way, so I'm just going to knock that out. See if we can get both of these balanced. Head, Lulu, very good. You know what I'm talking about. No, look. That looks way off. Hold the phone. Hold on. We'll get there. This is where this can come in handy. If you've got an understanding of the sort of skull structure, you can kind of reverse engineer this a little bit. So we can say, alright, the nose, corner here, following that back up, that should be here, this should scooch over just a bit. Potentially. No. Just a lot of fiddling sometimes. No, we erase and we start again. Come at it from an analytical standpoint. Think about the skull, center line, brow, brow, brow. This brow comes here, this brow comes back up there. Cool, something like that. It's going to wrap around. Keep in mind it's still stylized, so this is probably going to be larger. This is going to be a little bit further away than this. I'm liking the balls here, the eyeballs here. Catch myself there. It allows us a little bit more of that character to come through. We laugh now, Lulu. There we go. We're getting somewhere. We are getting somewhere. Maybe. Yep. I think we've got it-ish. Almost looks even. But this is the tricky part, right? If we just did a line here for the eyelash, I don't think that's where the lash is going to be. Because this brow is cutting off that lash. Or like where, and the lash would sort of like come in here. So that's kind of just going to poke out. I'm talking in half sentences right now. I know what I'm saying. I'm just going to make it look a little bit more natural. I like.
Hey, you couldn't see it coming. You might have thought it, but you couldn't change it. Hey, it's not right or wrong. It's about trying, find the silver lining. Rain and fire, highs and lows, you name it. Cold and warmth, laughs and cries, you have it. The world goes by, and by the time it does, you missed it. You didn't see it, flew by. 'Cause time's not waiting for me or you. You will miss it if you
Now
don't
we're going to balance
catch it
the head here.
in time. In time.
Because we're going to be seeing more of one side than the other. Because there's a slight 3/4, ever so slight tilt this way.
Laughs
Right, if we were to try and understand this lighting scenario, let's have a look. If we look at his hand, cool light at the top and warm light at the bottom, yes. But with caveats, I think. It's like, why is that light there? What is the light source? My hunch is there's warm light coming from this way. There was also warm light coming up from underneath here, and there's a cool light coming from this way. Right, so we've got to contend with that. So as that warm light wraps around, it's gonna be like, we could all just do it in the warm light first, maybe. And then we can come on top and find the planes that are getting hit by the blue light. I don't know. There's like a lot of stuff going on at the same time here. I'm kind of just playing around with. Because in here, there's a reflection here. You also got to be careful not to copy that reference too closely, because we're adding new shapes, we're inventing them. Working on one layer is great until you're tossing a bunch of translucent elements like leaves and wings. True. True. See, the values are all off. This is going to take some fiddling. Well, Vadazim. Vadazim. What are your goals whenever you do studies? It can change from study to study. For now, it is color. I'm getting that color temperature shift, but also still having the forms read, which is tricky, right? Sometimes it might be shape, sometimes it might be subject matter. You know? All different ways you can slice a study. I mean, it's the same as studying anything, right? It's figuring out that goal. A little bit of Leyendecker-esque kind of stuff going on here. Because even with all these colors, the forms aren't... Like, form is still form. We don't want to negate that. especially with the light direction. So there's going to be temperature shifts and temperature changes, but there's primarily going to be value changes, right? Just like here with the back of this collar. It's going to transition from a desaturated color into a more saturated orangey, and then back into the bluey sort of stuff. We could even hint, it depends how much we want to play around in the darks or in the losts. The lost edges. We could like indicate if we wanted to that like hard edge on certain parts that indicate, oh jeez, that indicates the jacket, right? But it's still like more or less lost. I don't know if I like that or not, so whether I keep it, we shall see. Not loving the face, but I mean that's gonna happen. When you're trying new stuff, you're not gonna love it all the time. Appreciate it, Tomoki. There is a value issue in the face. We're going to find it. Oh. The render ball, like, kind of, not really. It was to begin with, Abdo, but I've kind of gone off script with it. But if I was doing this like for real, and I was really trying to get pretty accurate, I would probably render this sphere up pretty well. Maybe, or at least have like, I'm kind of winging it at the moment, if I'm honest. I'm just seeing what happens.
People knew her by her will to make it whatever she put her mind to. Late night hours up the hill.
And also place values
Serving coffee to strangers, talking about
and then mess with the edges later.
she kept dreaming of a world
Right, so if we know we want this part to be darker,
she knew it must rain
right,
before it grows.
so we want it a little bit warmer.
She kept
We can
dreaming
always come back through
butterflies survive the wheel.
and soften this edge with either the smudge tool or by just straight up painting. Now if that's true, this should be a tad darker, probably back in here as well. Tomoki, very good call. Although I hate that combination. I know what you mean. Oh, is the music echoing? Shouldn't be. Test. Test. A little bit. That's fucking annoying. How's that? Better? Only music? Hopefully that fixed it. Nice. Good. Very nice. Okay. Yeah, we're getting experimental. What can we get away? No, this is the most annoying thing. If the indicator says that they're there and then you put the pen down and then it does that, why? You know what I mean? Like you have this at this angle, you place it down and then it's there. Is it because I'm flipped? Place it down because it's there. That's probably why. Okay, fair enough. It's stupid, but... This eye is too bright. That is the issue. I've identified it. I will fix it right now. It should be a reflection, but the matte surface should not be affected. And this should actually get quite a bit darker if this is true, what we've put in here. Love the shine in the hair. Thank you. Are you using G, the lasso tool, for the sharp edges? Sometimes. Yeah, so lasso tool sometimes for the sharp edges. Yeah. So in here, if this occlusion is to be true, then this occlusion in here should match that. Or at least have this similar sort of indication, because this eye would not be getting that much light, although it is a lighter local value. Now I'm getting a little bit more of a feel for the structure of the head. Where that brow would actually be catching maybe a few of those hairs in the brow. Whoop. We can start to design lover. We can start to design these shapes a little bit better as well, as we get a better idea of the overall shapes of the head. You're picking up what I'm putting down, maybe not. I'm kind of just talking for the sake of talking at the moment, so so now we're adding our own little flavour, our own little spiciness, because we're starting to understand, we're starting to decode the light that we've created. Mick, how you doing? Now, what's looking off? I reckon we might call it a stream in a little bit. But one thing I'm noticing that's looking off is here. If we go to black and white, all this is like the same value. But in reality, catch you later, Tomoki. Catch you tomorrow. But But in reality, there's going to be form changes here. So we got to make sure that we're staying true to the form. Also bump up that value on the shine. Bump the value up? Yeah, that's all I want. I don't want to go super highlighting with it. Yeah, we've got to be pretty subtle. Otherwise we could accidentally overpower. I might even desaturate this blue. And reduce that value so it's pretty... It almost just fades. I think I can knock it down a couple of value steps. Just keep in mind as well, this is the side where the blue light is. So we want to keep that in mind. it's coming from this way. Maybe it's more of a fill light, so it will catch a little bit of the back of that jaw. Could saturate it up a little bit. Quite like that, just like that little bit of indication. I think that should be cooler. Cooler. Even more subtle. Nah. Knock that value down. Get that right in the middle there. Yeah, maybe that. Could be that. I actually like it that subtle. Then we can transition those colors up. This too soft. Yeah, there's something here. This is a fun. Fun little study. With that, I think I'm going to leave it. We're going to save it. There's something wrong with this side of his head, but we'll fix it eventually. Thank you for letting me study with you today. It was a fun one. Trying to keep it simple. So the goal here was the colors, right? So really getting nitty gritty with understanding values, colors. See how the values still read? Even though we've got the warms and the cools and that sort of stuff, values are super important, which brings me to a pre-plug of my grey matter course coming out soon, which will be cool. And for those that are new, I do these streams every week, Monday, 10:45 a.m. Australian Central Daylight Time, and I believe Tomoki in chat. Where did he say? What are the actual times for international? Sunday 6:15 p.m. PST and 9:15 EST US time. Alright, so if you want to come and hang out again, feel free. I'm going to be here. For those that were in chatting away, went a bit quiet there at the end, but I was locked in. Appreciate you. And for those that are lurking, appreciate you just as much. And yeah, got some cool stuff coming up. Keep an eye out for that. And yeah, thank you again, guys. It means a lot that you pop past. And yeah, have a great rest of your week. A great start to your week. And I'll see you next week. All right.